Elena Harper stood on the balcony of her quaint suburban home, staring out at the setting sun. The sky was painted with hues of orange and pink, but Elena's thoughts were far from serene. The peaceful facade of her life was a stark contrast to the storm brewing within her. At 38, Elena was a successful attorney, a devoted wife, and a loving mother to 2 teenage children. To the outside world, she had it all: a perfect life, a perfect family. Yet beneath the surface, a torrent of emotions churned, threatening to upend everything she held dear. It all started innocuously enough. Daniel was a new associate at her law firm, 10 years her junior, with an infectious enthusiasm and a razor-sharp intellect. He had a way of making everyone feel at ease, his laughter echoing through the office halls, a stark contrast to the often somber atmosphere of their legal battles. Elena had taken him under her wing, guiding him through the intricacies of their high-profile cases. She admired his dedication, his hunger for knowledge, and his unwavering sense of justice. But as weeks turned into months, admiration morphed into something deeper, something forbidden. Their late-night work sessions became a refuge from the mundanity of her life. They would sit in her dimly lit office, poring over case files, their conversations flowing effortlessly from legal strategies to personal anecdotes. Daniel was different from anyone she had ever met. He saw the world with a youthful optimism that she had long since lost. He spoke of dreams and passions with an intensity that stirred something dormant within her. Elena found herself drawn to him, craving his presence in ways that left her feeling both exhilarated and guilty. It was a particularly late night when the lines between professional and personal began to blur. They had just won a grueling case, and the office was empty save for the 2 of them. Daniel leaned back in his chair, his tie loosened, a triumphant smile playing on his lips. "We make a great team, don't we, Elena?" She smiled, feeling a warmth spread through her. "Yes, we do. You've done incredible work, Daniel. I'm proud of you." His eyes met hers, and for a moment the air between them seemed charged with an unspoken understanding. He reached out, his hand covering hers. "I couldn't have done it without you." The touch was electric, sending a shiver down her spine. She should have pulled away, reminded herself of the boundaries she was dangerously close to crossing. But instead, she found herself leaning into the moment, savoring the warmth of his hand, the intensity of his gaze. It was as if the rest of the world had fallen away, leaving just the 2 of them in a fragile bubble of connection. "Daniel," she began, her voice trembling, "we shouldn't—" But before she could finish, he leaned in, his lips brushing against hers in a hesitant, almost reverent kiss. It was soft, tentative, as if he were afraid she might break, and in that instant, something within Elena shattered. The kiss deepened, their passion igniting like a spark to dry tinder. The office walls bore silent witness to their forbidden embrace, the boundaries they had so carefully maintained crumbling beneath the weight of their desire. As they pulled apart, breathless and shaken, the reality of what they had done began to sink in. Elena's mind raced with a cacophony of thoughts: guilt, fear, exhilaration. She had crossed a line that could never be uncrossed, and the consequences of her actions loomed ominously on the horizon. "Daniel, we can't... This isn't right." His expression was a mix of regret and longing. "I know, but I can't help how I feel, Elena. You mean more to me than just a mentor or a colleague. I care about you, deeply." She closed her eyes, trying to summon the strength to do the right thing. "We have to stop this, Daniel. We both have too much to lose." The days that followed were a tumultuous blend of emotions. Elena threw herself into her work, trying to maintain a semblance of normalcy, but the tension between her and Daniel was palpable. Every stolen glance, every accidental touch only intensified the magnetic pull between them. She found herself lying awake at night, her mind replaying their moments together, her heart torn between duty and desire. At home, the facade of her perfect life began to show cracks. Her husband, Mark, noticed her distant demeanor, her frequent absences. "Is everything okay, Elena? You've been so distracted lately?" She forced a smile, masking the turmoil within. "Just work, Mark. It's been really demanding." Mark was a good man, steady, reliable, and deeply committed to their family. They had built a life together, weathered the storms of parenthood and career challenges, but somewhere along the way, the spark between them had dimmed, replaced by routine and familiarity. Elena loved him, but it was a love born of shared history, not the fiery passion she felt with Daniel. Weeks turned into months, and the clandestine nature of their relationship added a dangerous thrill to every encounter. They met in secret, stolen moments that felt like an escape from reality. Yet with each passing day, the weight of their deceit grew heavier. Elena was caught in a web of lies, each thread tightening around her, threatening to unravel the life she had so carefully constructed. One evening, as she sat at the dinner table with her family, her phone buzzed with a message from Daniel. She glanced at it surreptitiously, her heart skipping a beat at the sight of his name. Mark noticed, his brow furrowing in concern. "Who's that?" "Just a work thing," she replied quickly, tucking the phone away. But the guilt gnawed at her, a constant reminder of the double life she was leading. The breaking point came one fateful night when the burden of secrecy became too much to bear. Elena had been distant, lost in her thoughts, and Mark had grown increasingly suspicious. "Elena, what's going on? You're not yourself. Is there someone else?" His words cut through her like a knife. The truth she had been hiding laid bare. Tears welled up in her eyes as she struggled to find the words. "Mark, The look of betrayal in his eyes was more than she could bear. "How long?" "Months," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "I didn't mean for it to happen. I never wanted to hurt you." Mark's face twisted with a mix of anger and pain. "How could you do this to us, to our family?" Elena's tears flowed freely now, the dam of her emotions breaking. "I'm so sorry, Mark. I'm sorry for everything. I've been lost, and I made a terrible mistake." The fallout was devastating. Mark moved out, taking the kids with him, leaving Elena alone in their once happy home. The walls that had witnessed their love now echoed with silence, a stark reminder of the life she had destroyed. Daniel reached out, offering comfort, but the guilt and shame weighed heavily on her. Their relationship, once a source of joy and excitement, now felt like a hollow echo of what could have been. In the weeks that followed, Elena threw herself into her work, trying to fill the void left by her shattered personal life. She avoided Daniel, the pain of their shared mistake too much to face. Her nights were sleepless, haunted by memories of happier times and the wreckage she had caused. She sought solace in therapy, trying to unravel the tangled web of her emotions and find a path to healing. It was during one of these sessions that her therapist, Dr. Green, posed a question that struck a chord. "Elena, what is it that you truly want? Not just for yourself, but for your family, for your future?" The question lingered in her mind, forcing her to confront the depths of her desires and regrets. She realized that her infidelity had been a symptom of deeper issues, unfulfilled dreams, a longing for passion and excitement that had been missing in her life. But it had also been a betrayal of the values she held dear, a breach of trust that had torn her family apart. Determined to make amends, Elena reached out to Mark, asking for a chance to talk. They met at a quiet cafe, the air between them heavy with tension. "Mark, I know I've hurt you deeply, and I can't undo the damage I've caused, but I want to try to make things right, for the sake of our children, for the life we built together." Mark looked at her, his expression a mix of sadness and resolve. "Elena, I loved you more than anything, and you broke my heart. But for the sake of our kids, I'm willing to try. It won't be easy, and it won't happen overnight. But if you're truly committed to rebuilding our family, I'm willing to take that step with you." The road to reconciliation was long and fraught with challenges. Trust, once broken, was not easily repaired. But Elena was determined to prove her commitment, to show Mark and their children that she was willing to do whatever it took to heal their fractured family. She ended her relationship with Daniel, severing the ties that had brought her so much turmoil. It was a painful decision, but one she knew was necessary for her own growth and the restoration of her family. Therapy became a cornerstone of their journey, both individually and as a couple. They delved into the root causes of their issues, exploring the unmet needs and unspoken resentments that had driven Elena to seek solace elsewhere. Through tears and difficult conversations, they began to rebuild the foundation of their relationship, brick by brick. Elena also sought to reconnect with her children, whose lives had been upended by the upheaval in their family. She attended their school events, spent quality time with them, and listened to their fears and frustrations. It was a slow process, but gradually, the walls of mistrust began to crumble, replaced by a fragile but growing sense of hope. As months turned into a year, Elena and Mark found themselves in a new place, one where honesty and vulnerability were at the forefront of their relationship. They had faced the depths of their pain and emerged stronger, more resilient. The love they shared was no longer a distant memory, but a renewed commitment to each other and their family. One evening, as they sat together on the balcony watching the sunset, Elena took Mark's hand in hers. "Thank you for giving us another chance, Mark. I know it hasn't been easy, but I'm grateful every day for the opportunity to rebuild what we lost." Mark smiled, a genuine warmth in his eyes. "We've come a long way, Elena, and I'm proud of us, for facing our demons, for choosing to fight for our family. I love you." Tears welled up in Elena's eyes, but this time they were tears of gratitude and joy. "I love you too, Mark, more than words can express." Their journey was far from over, but they had learned to navigate the complexities of their relationship with a newfound sense of purpose and understanding. The forbidden desires and emotional turmoil that had once threatened to tear them apart had ultimately brought them closer together, forging a bond that was stronger for having been tested by fire. In the end, Elena's story was one of redemption and self-discovery. She had faced the consequences of her actions, grappled with her inner demons, and emerged with a deeper understanding of herself and the importance of the relationships she held dear. The path to healing had been arduous, but it had also been transformative, leading her to a place of greater authenticity and fulfillment. As she stood on the balcony, bathed in the soft glow of the setting sun, Elena felt a sense of peace she had not known in a long time. She had learned that true love was not just about passion and excitement, but about commitment, forgiveness, and the willingness to face the darkest parts of oneself. And in that knowledge, she found the strength to continue her journey, one step at a time, with her family by her side.